Yes, people, it's been a while. GRP back in the house, and it's Mr. L Rock in the building talking about Anthony Joshua and obviously his up and coming fight Ngannou. I come across this video from Jack Murdoch Boxing. Um, so the question is, has Anthony Joshua pretty much lost it? Is he the same fighter? But this video, let's I watched like a minute or two, and then I thought, yeah, let me do a video on this one. All right, so big up Jack Murdoch.
Used to fight.
And Joshua.
Right,
This is Anthony Joshua, and this is how he used to fight.
And Joshua just grins at him. And White is starting to come apart here already.
White's got a hold. White's got a hold. He's got a hold.
He's not doing it.
This is how he fights today. To be fair, he ended 2023 looking more like the first guy than the second. But what exactly happened to the all-out, guns-blazing, seek-and-destroy knockout artist? Let's take a look. Simply put, he got better. Or to put it more accurately, he became more responsible. Always being in knockout mode is dangerous. Your defense slips, you risk emptying the tank, and you're so focused on offense, you might just forget about the punches coming back. If Joshua fights Ngannou the way he fought before, he's going to sleep. And at this stage in his career, one reckless mistake could be his last. Early on, it didn't really matter. AJ won his first championship off pure talent and athleticism. But as he stepped up, so did his opponents. He had to learn the hard way, and his first teacher, Vladimir Klitschko. Joshua came out like a wrecking ball against Old Man Vlad, overwhelming the former champ and scoring the first knockdown. But to power his early aggression, he used all of his energy. The veteran got back up and in the same round, found a home for his punches on a tired.
yeah, you can see that he's puffed out. Like, you can ask Larry, he'll attest to this. You can't sustain that punching power. You can't. There's just nothing left, and then you're just wide open.
Stationary AJ. Joshua was breathing heavy and Klitschko was beginning to land at will.
Yeah, you can
AJ
see.
may have won the round, but the seasoned vet was looking like the stronger fighter. Even after the break, Joshua was still gassed, but after scoring the knockdown, he could take the round off and stick and move until he caught his breath. That is, until...
You're not landing that one again.
Hey,
You don't get to be the reigning heavyweight champ for 12 years without a few tricks up your sleeve. Dr. Steelhammer's explosive straight right sent
that was a beautiful shot. Absolutely pinpoint perfect.
AJ to the canvas for the first time in his career. And with one knockdown apiece, this fight just got interesting. But either due to old age or perhaps not wanting to chase the knockout, Vladimir took his foot off the gas. And with youth on his side, Joshua caught a second wind and landed an uppercut from the gods right on Klitschko's chin. To this day, I don't know how Vlad stayed standing. Joshua wouldn't let his opportunity slip a second time and battered the former champ to the canvas en route to an 11th round stoppage. AJ was now a 2.
To be fair, Vlad was on his way out the door. He wasn't at his peak. At his peak, I don't think Joshua would have won. That's just my opinion. You may differ.
Belt champion and added a legend to his resume. And after being battle tested in 2017's Fight of the Year, he proved he was the real deal. But the taste of Vlad's best punch would prove to leave a lasting impression. AJ was a little more reserved after going to a 12-round decision for the first time in his career. But it didn't matter, he was now a 3-belt champion and still collecting knockouts. Everything was lining up perfectly for his US debut. He toured New York, promoted his fight on late night, and even had a lower ranked opponent step in as a last minute replacement.
Right. Andy Ruiz. This is where it all changed. And for those that don't know, Larry, who used to be a professional boxer, gave me the heads up on Andy Ruiz and said that he is not to be taken lightly, regardless of his shape and what you can see. it tells you nothing.
A knockout in Madison Square Garden would send his career to the moon, and in the third round, that moonshot was well on its way. A three-punch combo on the inside snapped the neck of Andy Ruiz and sent him tumbling.
And at this point, we all thought, oh, okay, right, you know, the big fat guy, that's the end. Because remember, people were mocking him. They were like, look at the state of him. Because you see Anthony Joshua just statuesque, chiseled, and you see Ruiz look like he just came from the kebab shop, and just thought, yeah, let me give it a go.
Everyone knew what was coming next. AJ enters beast mode and puts the man to sleep. Even the commentators said,
Anthony Joshua is a composed and ferocious finisher. Watch this.
Enter AJ's second great lesson. With the knockout on his mind, Joshua stepped back into the fire. What no one expected, however, was the short, fat underdog to stand toe-to-toe with the champ. Andy's fast hands clipped the Brit right on the temple, and he was never the same.
No.
AJ lost his legs, his equilibrium, and the will to engage. 3 more trips to the canvas, and it was called off. The upset of a generation. The embarrassment of a generation.
And for me, I think this is where AJ really changed his strategy. Like, that loss, he took that loss hard. We know he took that loss hard. And that was just like a wake-up call. And every great has to get knocked the fuck out, basically. But this changed it. He had all the supporters from the UK there. Everyone was looking. And this was just like one of the biggest upsets. But Larry, you wasn't surprised, was you? He wasn't surprised.
The Klitschko fight was rough, but he did get up and win with a knockout. This fight was not just a loss, but one he was winning and blew against the underdog. Absolute nightmare. Something had to change, and it did. In the rematch, we saw the most poised and disciplined Joshua yet. Perhaps not as exciting as before, but he got it done. The new and improved AJ also flatlined Kubrat Pulev.
Yeah, well, going back to Ruiz, he had to outbox Ruiz because you can't straight up have a slugfest with Andy because he's about that. He's about that. You want to trade blows, he was about that. So if we remember when we watched the fight, AJ was like, I'm not running at this guy. I'm going to outbox him. And he did.
And it looked like his second reign as champion was gonna be a long and prosperous one. Then came the Ukrainian master, Alexander Usyk, in front of 68,000 of AJ's friends and family, put on the performance of a lifetime. Despite being vastly undersized, his footwork, pace, and pressure were too much for the champ to handle. Feints and jabs set up his terrifyingly accurate cross, and his elite defense kept him safe. He ended the fight on the front foot, and Joshua barely made it out of the round. Usyk proved that skill and speed still matter in the heavyweight division, and beat the champ in his own backyard. And a year later, he did it again. Anthony Joshua had been humbled for the third time, and every time critics called it the end of his career. However, if we've
When I watched that fight, it was so frustrating because Usyk's ring work was so good. He is such an awkward fighter. Joshua just couldn't get him. Just couldn't get him. And I think that fight super humbled him. Both of them. Like, he really understood boxing on another level after Usyk.
learned anything from AJ, it's that he lives in the gym, takes his L's with grace, and always comes back better. Of all the elite heavyweights, he is the best athlete, and seems to be the only one that still has his heart in it, evidenced by the fact that he dedicated 2023 to sharpening his skills and clawing his way back to a title shot. For the first time since he was a challenger, he fought an aggressive.
Alright, let's pause it there. So yeah, alright, I've got this the subtitles in front. But yeah, from 2020, well, 2019, 2021, what's that? 3 years, just 4 fights, and then you got 2023 3 fights. So he's really trying to get his ring work up, and you know that one fight a year is just not going to do it. You're just not going to be that guy with one fight a year. If you remember the old days, I'm talking like Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank days, they were having many fights in a year. You know, it's like now they just have a fight, go on vacation for 6 months, might have another one. You know, you need to be up there, but it looks like AJ is doing the work.
3 times in 1 year, a routing against Jermaine Franklin, a savage knockout over Robert Helenius, and a systematic breakdown of Otto Wallin. Were they as exciting as his prospect days? Maybe not, but an exciting, barbaric, heat-seeking missile isn't what he needs to be right now. He needs to be a champion, and champions are economical, smart, and disciplined with measured aggression. That's the AJ we saw this past year.
The last 3 fights that he's had, nobody expected him to lose them anyway. So I think he's just homing his craft, and he's just like working with his trainer. Nobody expected him to lose. Like Helenius, you know, Larry told me from day, you know, he was just, obviously he was a stand-in, wasn't he? And yeah, he was just there for his pay packet.
The thing is, those guys he beat weren't exactly championship material.
Yeah,
Challengers maybe, but nothing compared to Joshua's next fight, Francis Ngannou. Now, I'm not saying Ngannou is some elite boxer, but he did do this to Fury. He's got a great chin and lights out power, and a lot of people think he's gonna retire AJ with a knockout. Based on the Fury fight, I don't blame him. But here's what they don't understand about Ngannou's boxing debut. Fury fights to the level of his opponents. He overlooked the MMA fighter and thought he had an easy payday, but now that there's footage for Joshua to study, he'll have a game plan, whereas Fury fought off instinct alone. Joshua should look to box from the outside, throw a million jabs, and stay out of a firefight. The AJ we saw in the Ruiz rematch with the cautious offense we saw last year might be his strongest form yet. One thing is certain, Joshua is a smarter fighter today than he was 5 years ago. Less aggressive maybe, but like all great champions, he's learning from his losses and honing his craft. I think we're gonna see a smart, composed fight from the 2-time champ, but who knows, it's heavyweight boxing.
I think he's gonna have to do that, because if Ngannou, if you go in all reckless, or not even reckless, but if you go in aggressive and you know, Ngannou's ready for all of that. He's ready for all of that. So if Joshua leaves himself open, there's going to be a problem. Or, you know, Puncher's chance, if he catches AJ, he's going down.
Let me know in the comments section who you think is gonna win.
Yeah, so, you know, it's been ebbs and flows for Joshua. I don't know. I wouldn't bet my life that Joshua's gonna win, and I wouldn't bet my life in Ghana. I don't know how it's gonna go, but Joshua should win, and the reason he should win is because he's a seasoned boxing pro. And like Jack said, he's got a little bit of footage to go on. And, you know, even though he knocked down Fury's been down many times. But Fury gets up. So if you can knock down Fury and he doesn't get up, then I believe you're something special. But just like Fury can be caught. Look, we saw it with Deontay. We've seen it a few times. But this one, you know, I think everyone wants to see this one. But if Joshua loses, let me know what you think. If Joshua loses, is that it for Joshua? Is that it? I think so. I think so. But others might not agree. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next one.